You gotta keep on breathing if you wanna make sense of it all. We will not fall.
So let us begin our yin this evening, and thank you for joining us. We're going to start seated, and you can be any position seated. You can have your legs in cross-legged, you can have the soles of the feet together, you can have the legs out in front of you or out to the side, or if you wish to, sit on a block, use a wall, always find props that are available to you. And just take the palms and just allow the palms to be face up, resting onto the knees. When the palms are open, it's very receptive, it's very receiving, and I want us to kind of receive lots of energy from one another today. We're coming up into the upper body for the yin practice today, so into the rib cage, into the chest, upper and middle back, and a little bit into the shoulders and the neck. So maybe you choose to close the eyes, maybe you take a soft gaze. And just start to regulate your breathing here, breathing in and out of equal length through the nostrils. And just imagining and visualizing that inhale breath is breathing in energy, and you're sending that energy to each and every part of your body, sending it to the top of your head, into your brain, sending it to the tips of your fingers, and all the way down the spine into the legs and to all of your toes. And visualize the exhale breath as letting go of tightness, tension, gripping. So there's always an energetic feeling and movement with each inhale and exhale breath. As you breathe, just observe how you are today, how you feel mentally, emotionally, physically. Take note of sensations and feelings. We don't have to dwell on those sensations or feelings, just take note, be aware of them, be conscious, and then move on. And as we work with the upper body, we work with the fourth chakra, the heart chakra, the Anahata. One day, a woman was walking down the street, and a stranger bumped into her. She was absolutely furious. It was a hot day, she was busy, and now anger was pouring through her at how stupid and careless others were. She turned to the man to unleash her anger, and when she met his eyes, she realized he was blind. How could she be so heartless to the blind, she thought in shame, and how could she overact without understanding the full picture? She immediately apologized and vowed to step beyond her anger by turning it to compassion. When we step out of our egos of anger, jealousy, and dislike, we can step into genuine feelings and acceptance for each other. When we remove the blind spots to Anahata or our heart chakra, we can experience and open up the faithful feeling that this chakra imbues. Unconditional love and respect for all sentient beings, including yourself. So with that story and those words in mind, maybe you bring an intention to your practice. An intention of unconditional love and kindness and compassion to yourself today during your yin practice. Always bringing the attention back into the heart space, into the chest, and really flowing with your breath. Gently lifting the hands, placing the left and the right palm on top of one another over the heart space. And take those deep breaths in. Feel the energy into the back of your palms. Deep breath out, slowly releasing tightness. Deep breath in. Expansion through the chest, rib cage, and upper back. Deep breath out, relax the facial expression and the shoulders. And last time, deep breath in to the palms. And as you breathe out, let the arms float down to the lap. And gently opening the eyes, lifting the knees together, and just give yourself a big hug. And let us move into our tabletop position. So bringing the hands down to the mat, wrists are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. And just widen the palms just a little bit away from the shoulders. They don't have to be right underneath the shoulders. So bringing the little fingers to the outer edges of your mat and widen the knees just a little bit as well. So take the knees a little bit wider than hip width. And then just sway from side to side. So you're gently dropping a shoulder and a hip on the right and dropping a shoulder and a hip on the left. And just notice here, as you start to gently twist, the pelvis moves and the shoulder blades and the rib cage moves. You can start to deepen this by bending through the elbow. So as you bend an elbow, you start to open the chest up towards the right side. Bending the right elbow, you open the chest up towards the left. So maybe that elbow drops towards the mat. And trying the other side. So maybe the head starts to turn as well, and you can start to look above the top shoulder. I just want you to find some mobility here. Then bringing yourself back into center, bring those hands in a little bit underneath the shoulders, bring the knees in a little bit underneath the hips, and then drop the belly. Slight arch through the lower back, draw the shoulders back and gently look forward. Try not to arch too much in the back of the neck, so you're just looking forward to the front of your mat. And then you start to draw the belly into your cat. Again, taking these movements of cat and cow really very, very slowly and smoothly with long breaths. Feeling everything that is going on in the spine. Each breath mobilizes each vertebra of the spine. And then coming back into neutral, placing the right hand down, lifting the left up towards the sky, open through the side body here. So maybe press the back of the hand behind you, and then start to thread that through and under into thread the needle. Now, if you've got a block handy, you might place the hand onto your block, or it might come down to the mat. Keeping the hips nice and high, shins, tops of the feet are pressing into the mat. Opening up through the right side of your rib cage, right armpit. And holding for a few breaths here. Just really find that steady and even flow of breath. Remembering we are working with the upper body here, so really focus in towards the heart space. If anything feels uncomfortable here, just make small modifications or movements to make sure that you are comfortable and without any pain. Nice and slowly draw that right hand back to the palm, press into the mat and lift yourself back up into a neutral tabletop. Take a few rounds of the cat and cow again. Breathing in to look forward, breathing out, tucking chin to chest. And then last time, come back into neutral. This time the right arm lifts up towards the sky, back of the hand presses back behind you, and open up through the right side of the body to thread that arm through and under, all the way down onto the shoulder, and again finding where that left hand needs to be placed, whether it's on a block or on the mat out in front of you, keeping the hips nice and high here. Steady, even flow of breath, and as we switch to the other side, just notice any differences. Just a few more breaths here. Open through the left side of your body and your rib cage. And nice and slowly bringing that left palm back, pressing into the mat to lift yourself up. Bring the right arm back and then just gently sway the hips. So coming off of the knees, just roll yourself back and swing the legs out in front of you. Good work. So take the legs out in front of you. You can just recover, but just by massaging into the knees, the legs, the shins here. There's always quite a bit of pressure when we do thread the needle into the top part of the shins and the knees. And this time we're just going to keep the feet a little bit wider here. And you can make a nice little tower with your blocks to rest your head on, or you don't have to use the blocks at all, of course. But this is a semi-wide leg, semi-forward fold. And start to fold forward. Give yourself a little bit of a wiggle through the butt cheeks. removing that flesh, and then start to bring yourself down. Relax the head, the forehead, the facial expression, choosing to close the eyes if you feel comfortable to do so. And certainly try to relax through the neck and the shoulders here. If you struggle bending forward with the hamstrings, just lightly bend at the knees and place the soles of the feet on the floor. But we're here for a few minutes. So really make yourself comfortable. And breathe through the back of your body. Breathe through your spine in this forward fold. Reminding yourself of the inhale traveling to each and every part of the body, and the exhale allowing a deeper sense of letting go and release. Taking note if you're tensing anywhere in the body, whether that be the legs or the upper body and arms or head. Just a few more breaths. Start to walk the hands back towards the body, keeping the chin down in towards the chest. Keep the round through the spine all the way as you start to lengthen the spine. Shoulders come back in line with the hips to bring you to seated upright. Head is the last thing to come up. And just take a moment to feel the spine seated upright here. Bend at the knees, hands come back behind you, and just windscreen wiper the legs out to the side. So legs go right and left a couple of times. And then preparing to swing the legs around behind you. Come back into that kneeling posture once more for our puppy pose or heart pose. And again, you can bring those blocks out in front of you to place the forearms on. They can use as your rest. Keep the hips above the knees again. And you start to melt the chest down towards the mat. Maybe the head comes to the mat or onto a pillow or onto a block. And if you don't need the blocks for the arms, you can take those away and just have the arms on the mat. Just start to feel the shoulders melting in towards the collarbones and the collarbones melting in towards the mat. And the chest starts to melt. Reminding yourself of your inhale and exhale breath. Remember, the energy of the inhale goes to each and every part of the body, and the exhale allows a sense of release and letting go. Notice if your legs, your feet are holding tightness. Try to relax as much as you can through the upper body. Let gravity be your prop here. Just a few more breaths. Nice and slowly coming out of the pose. If you had your arms on the blocks, bring the arms back onto the mat. Slide the blocks away. And then just come back into a wide leg child's pose with the hands underneath the head. Elbows go wide and just sway a little bit through the hips, the pelvis, just nestling the belly between the thighs. And then find stillness in your child's pose. A few breaths here. And gently place the hands down to give yourself a little bit of push up and start rolling up slowly, slowly, slowly through the spine again. Chin stays down towards the chest until the last moment, and you come back up into upright, into kneeling, finding that long spine. Relax the shoulders. Imagine the crown of the head is reaching towards the sky and the sit bones pressing down in towards the heels. If you feel comfortable to stay in kneeling, that's good. Or you can swing the legs around in front of you. We're going to come into reverse prayer. So many options for reverse prayer. The hands might interlace behind you. The knuckles may connect. Or you might bring the palms together. That depends on your shoulder opening and your wrist flexibility here. So we are going to stay here for 2 minutes. So find the option that works for you. Closing the eyes, sitting or kneeling nice and tall. And relax the facial expression. So we think about the opening of the shoulder girdle and the chest here. Try not to flare the ribs. And find a steady breath. We all have different shoulder openings, we all have different wrist mobility, so this posture could be different for all four of us. And slowly release the hands. Be careful of the wrists here as you come out to recovery. And just rest the arms and the hands, palms face up on the thighs. And just respond. Just allow the wrists or the hands or the shoulders to respond and feel when we come out of the pose. And then gently you might wish to just circle through the wrists. So coming down onto our bellies, into prone. Hands come underneath the head here. And just sway out through the hips and the pelvis. Bring the big toes to touch. And allow the spine to rest into the belly and the belly to rest into the spine. Let them both be heavy as one. And then coming into Sphinx pose, widening the feet if you need to, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat for a moment. Arms come out in front of you onto the forearms. Elbows might be underneath the shoulders, or they might be just a little bit forward, but try to not allow the neck to sink into the shoulder sockets, but pressing away from the mat to allow the chest to be open. Drop the pelvis in towards the mat and find a comfortable place and alignment of the head and the neck, maybe closing the eyes. And again, just imagining that energy coming into the body through the chest, the cardiovascular system, the lungs opening. And the exhale allows a deeper sense of grounding through the pubic bone and the hips. Reminding yourself of your breath. The inhale sends energy around the body. The exhale is a releasing. But in Sphinx, we're not collapsing when we release and let go. We're allowing the lower body to relax. A few more breaths here. Holding the pose, finding stillness of mind and body, and working towards your edge. Here are the 3 principles of Yin Yoga. And slowly widening the elbows out to the side as you roll down through the rib cage, rib by rib, bringing yourself back into that neutral prone position. Hands come underneath the forehead, big toes touch, heels fall out to the sides. Sway a little if that feels good. Reaching the right arm back or taking hold of a strap and placing it over the foot. Come into your quad stretch here. So gently drawing the heel in towards the buttock and resting the head down onto the hand or turning onto the cheek if you prefer. Going to do a couple of minutes on each side here, so make sure that you keep that knee nice and long and lengthening through the thigh, drawing the hip flexor downwards to the mat. Trying to relax into the upper body this time. Breathing into the knee joint and the quadriceps, the thighs. And slowly release the hand, let the foot float down and bring the hands back into neutral prone. Once more, feet, toes come together, heels fall out. And so before we come to the other side for the quad stretch, just take the right leg out towards the side, opening up into half frog. So the knee is in line with the hip. You've got a 90-degree bend into that right hip. And just gently flex through the foot and maybe bring the hands out to the side, up onto the fingertips. And we're just going to gently keep the hips grounded and just rise up nice and gently. Don't have to come too high. And then fold down. We'll just repeat that 3 times. Maybe the palms come down if you feel better, rather than the fingertips. Rolling up through the spine. And gently release. Keeping the right leg where it is. And staying in half frog. Relaxing as much as you can into the glutes, into the buttocks, into the hip joints. Letting gravity be your friend here as you release the pelvis to the mat. And gently sliding that right leg back, sway out. And let's take the left quad stretch, sweeping that left arm back and around, either using the strap. Open up through that shoulder here, so you can open and round the shoulder behind you, and then draw the heel in towards the buttock rather than the outer hip, and lengthen the thigh away, drawing the hip flexor downwards towards the mat, and then deep breath out, letting go, coming into the posture. Last few breaths here. And the next exhale, relax the hand, relax the foot, let it float down. Bring yourself back into neutral. Sway out. And then left leg comes into half frog. Again, 90-degree bend at the hip, 90-degree at the knee. And then hands come out to the wider edges of your mat into seal, either on the fingertips or the palms, and just gently ripple up, trying to drop through that left hip and ripple down, keeping the shoulders away from the ears, not screwing the shoulders up towards the neck. And repeating twice more. Ripple up with your inhale, ripple down with your exhale, and then bring hands underneath the head or to the cheek as you come into your half frog for a hold. Using the exhale to release. Notice if you're holding anything anywhere. Last few breaths here. And sliding that leg back, swaying out. And pressing the tops of the feet into the wider corners of your mat. Sweep the hands back around you, interlace the fingers, and just press the knuckles down the sacrum as the shoulders open and the chest starts to lift. So as you press the knuckles, keep pressing the feet into the mat, lifting up into a half locust. Stay for as many breaths as you like here. Try to use the back extensors as your stabilizers and reaching the crown of the head away. Try not to hold the breath. And then lowering down and just bringing yourself back into a tabletop. Swaying out, cat and cow, whatever feels good. And getting blocks, blankets or bolsters ready for our peak pose of twisted dragon. So maybe that bolster is your support for your leg, and your two blocks are your hand supports. So we're going to take the right foot forward. Then just drop the hips downwards towards your pillow or your block. Pillow or bolster, sorry. And just staying nice and upright here, opening across the shoulders, keeping the knee nicely in line, stacking above the ankle joint. And then let's start to take the twist. So we can take the left hand across the right knee. Maybe it comes to the block and the right hand might come into the sacrum here. If that's too complicated, just rest the left hand over the right knee and looking over that back right shoulder. So a twisted dragon lunge here. This is your peak pose, so one of the more challenging. Takes a bit of stability, concentration to focus, and also some strength. So we are twisting towards the front leg, towards the right leg, twisting the chest and the belly towards that thigh. Right hand goes towards the sacrum to press the hips and pelvis downwards towards the mat. A few more breaths. Try and relax each exhale. Gently bring yourself back into center and just press back into half splits just to gently release for a moment into the front hamstring, the hip flexors. Good. Remember, it's, yin does have a challenge to it. So changing legs, left leg comes in front. And just making sure that you feel comfortable, padding out that back knee if you need, using the blocks as your stabilizers. And then right hand can come over onto the block and the elbow connects with the knee if that feels comfortable. If not, you can just rest the hand there and left hand comes to the sacrum. And that gently pushes the pelvis downwards, okay? So you need to find what works for you. Maybe opening up the gaze behind you over that left shoulder. Good. So just taking note here in these postures. Where is the challenge coming in? Where can you direct that breath? Direct your focus. Always working towards your edge in yin. Always feeling something. Just a few more breaths, doing great. And slowly return to center, hands come down to just gently press yourself back into the half splits, just to release hips, hamstrings. And then let's come off of the knees. So coming back into our forward fold, this time with the legs together. You can always choose to place a bolster underneath the knees here, but I would like you to try and find a forward fold without props. So you can just fold yourself forward. Legs come together. If that's too much, take a slight bend. And let the body fold forward. So again, the breath is through the back of your body. Give yourself a wiggle into the sit bones. Free up that flesh. And then let the head be heavy here. Try not to tense the muscles in the legs here, either the hamstrings or the thighs. Really allow the exhale to relax your muscle contraction. And each exhale lets you get a little bit deeper and heavier. So when we start working with the heart chakra, the Anahata, the fourth chakra located at the heart space, we do a lot of back bends, we do a lot of forward folds, and we do some twists. A few more breaths. Deep breath out, let go even more. And gently and slowly start to roll up. You're going to draw the belly back towards the spine. Uncurl the lower, the middle, and the upper back. The shoulders come back in line with the hips. Chin is still tucked in towards the chest until the last moment. And then gently unfold the neck and the head rises. Take a moment just to sit upright. Allow the recovery. And then lifting the knees, taking a block, putting a block between the thighs. Teepee twist here, feel grounded through the feet and just gently take the hand across to the thigh and twist back behind you. We're going to stay here for 1 minute. Hand might be resting on the fingertips or on the palm, whatever feels good. Just keep a nice length in the spine, opening the chest to the side of your mat. Squeezing the thighs in towards the block. Inhale lengthens the spine, and the exhale deepens your rotation. Gently bring back into center and take it over to the other side. So left hand across that right knee and right hand behind you. Lengthen the spine, open the chest to the side. Maybe the gaze goes towards the back hand. You can close your eyes, just keep gripping through the inner thighs into that block so the pelvis stays stable. Inhale lengthens, exhale deepens the rotation. And slowly return to center, take the block away. Make yourself warm, put some socks on and start to come down onto your backs as you gently draw the knees in towards the chest. And just roll out through the spine here, roll out through the shoulder blades. Turn the head from right to left so you get a little neck stretch. Then arms come out to the side, palms face up. And just notice as you turn the palms face down, what happens to your shoulder girdle. So notice as you turn the palms face down towards the mat, notice what happens inside the shoulder joint. It's a ball and socket. And then turn the palms up and notice if the chest opens as well as the collarbones. Start to rock the knees over to the left side using the core here so you can control the knees rather than letting them drop to the mat. Keep anchoring through that right shoulder. So maybe the knees hover. And then maybe the feet come down, maybe the knees come down. The knees might separate, that's okay. Keep trying to anchor through the right shoulder. When I talk about anchoring, I mean drawing it downwards towards the earth. Control that lower of the knees through the trunk. And then bring center nice and steady and slowly. Breathing in, start to lift. Again, core activation, but also within the spine. Come back into center. Turn the palms face down. Inward rotation of your shoulder joint. Open the palms outward, external rotation of the shoulder joint. And then steadily and slowly with control, we're going to start to lower the knees over to the right side. So keeping the anchor through your left shoulder blade. Draw the core in, use the spinal muscles. And then maybe the feet come down, maybe the knees. You can separate the knees. And you might use a block if you need. Try to keep that left shoulder blade anchoring down. Nice twist through the spine, through the digestive organs. Keeping our chest, our heart to the sky. And then slowly engage to bring back. Breathe in as you start to lift the knees. Breathe out. Breathe in and out as you return to center. And take the hands up onto the knees and start to guide the knees outwards into a circle and the other way. So just gently massage through the spine. Let's come into a supported fish with your bolster or pillows. So the bolster goes down the center line of your body, and if you've got a pillow or a block, you might use that to rest your head on at the back of your bolster or pillow. And just make sure that you are comfortable when you start to come down, and you can choose to have the feet long along the mat, or you might wish to take the soles of the feet together into butterfly and allow the hips to open, knees nice and relaxed, and arms are out to the side, palms face up. But again, notice what happens when you turn your palms face down. The shoulder turns inwards, you've got an inward rotation, probably might not be as comfortable, and then open the palms to the sky. Let's hold here for about 4 or 5 minutes. So really make yourself comfortable, closing the eyes, relaxing facial expression, letting gravity do its work into the bolster or the pillow. In each breath here, that each inhale opens and expands the rib cage, the lungs, the chest, the upper and the middle back. We're stretching through the front abdominals or the psoas of the body here as well. And those come down into the hip flexors and wrap around to the spine. And as you lie here in supported fish, be aware of where your mind is. Is it present with you in the body and on the mat? Or is it drifting out to external distractions? Draw inwards once more to sensations and feelings within the body. Taking a deeper breath in, deeper breath out. Start wiggling the fingers to bring movement back. If you chose your legs in butterfly, slide the legs along the mat into their extended position. And if this feels comfortable, start to sweep the arms back around you. So behind your head, opening up through the chest and the shoulders, and you might be able to just let the arms drop. It's a deeper opening through the armpits, across the chest, into the upper back. So if you need support, you can just rest the hands on the back of the bolster, or they're just free. Let them drop and be heavy here. It might be feeling a deep stretch in the outer shoulder joint. And then nice and slowly bring those arms back in front of the face, down by the heart, the belly, and lift the knees up. And then gently lift the head, press into the elbows, and just roll off of the bolster and come down all the way into Shavasana. Feel the body as it lies without anything supporting it. It's fully on the mat. If this feels uncomfortable, bend the knees and place the soles of the feet on the mat, dropping the pelvis bowl and dropping the lower back in towards the earth. And just pause for a moment as you feel the recovery to come out of that supported fish. And maybe you need to do something here with your body if you feel it needs a stretch or you feel it needs to do something else. Go ahead, do that. Or you can make your way into our final relaxation in Shavasana by getting yourself warm under a blanket. Maybe using the bolster underneath the knees to give yourself a prop. And maybe supporting the head as well. And as you now lie back, find that steady breath. Samavriti, equal inhale to equal exhale that we found at the beginning of our practice. Remembering energy on the inhale to each and every part of the body, And a deep sense of release and letting go on the exhale. The fourth chakra, the Anahata, sits over our physical heart and regulates its flow of energy. It lies like a bridge in the center, connecting our outer relationships with our inner worlds. Anahata, or the heart chakra, paves the way between our higher centers of the throat, the third eye, and the crown, and the lower centers of the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root, as she beckons us to cross from the physical to the spiritual. When this energy center is balanced, we can forgive easily. We feel kinship and we feel connection to those around us and demonstrate unconditional love and empathy. Our heart turns from being self-serving to all-serving, where we display an open-hearted graciousness to all who walk this life with us. When this energy becomes imbalanced or diminished through sickness, loss, or grief, we may experience a stagnancy in Anahata. This deficiency may cause us to become shy, antisocial, and intolerant of others and ourselves. And we may engage in self-sabotaging or self-absorbed behaviors. We may shut down outside connections to protect ourselves from further hurt. So the postures that we worked on today were to open, were to balance, and to provide energy into our heart centers. To feel kindness, love, and compassion for ourselves, first and foremost, so that then we are able to offer that kindness and love out to others. Bringing in karma yoga, the path of action and the path of selfless service. Beginning to deepen the breath, taking a deep breath in, bringing awareness back into the room as you deep breath out, back on your mat, and bringing some soft and gentle movement to the hands, to the feet. Maybe rolling the head from side to side to bring movement into the neck, and either choosing to give yourself a big stretch, reaching the arms up over the head and pointing the toes away, or drawing the knees in and rolling, massaging, before taking your time to roll over to one side and gradually and steadily bringing yourself back up into a comfortable seat. We'll return to cross-legged or butterfly position with the hands in Anjali Mudra at heart center, and just nestling the thumbs in towards the sternum here, and just bowing the head slightly. So the fingertips point up towards the third eye, the thumbs point up towards the throat, and just recalling your own intention for practice, whatever that may be, and how that intention can be relatable into daily life, taking it with you as you roll up your mat. Always reminding yourself that you put in your work, you invest your time and money for your own well-being and your own body, and always giving thanks to your body and your breath. And I thank you. Namaste.